Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vipin Saini, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Biological Agri Solutions Association India, and I welcome one and all of you who have graced this occasion. It is our first event entitled BASAI 2024, Biologicals for the World, Agri Inputs Tackling Global Challenges. And I can't say how much overwhelmed I am by the response that I have received even till late night and today morning also in this whole regard. So thank you all for gracing the occasion. We will now start the inaugural, and for that I would first like to invite our Chairperson, Juzar Khorakiwala, to kindly escort our Chief Guest, Dr. P.K. Singh, Agriculture Commissioner, Government of India, to the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, we can give them a warm applause. Yeah. And may I also request upon the dais Dr. Deepak Pental, former Vice-Chancellor, University of Delhi. Sir, please. I would also like to request Dr. Vinod, Pandit, Regional Director, CABI, to kindly join us on the dais. Before we start the inaugural session, I would like all of you to kindly stand in respect of the national anthem likely to be played.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Over to you, Dr. Juzar Khorakiwala.
Good afternoon, all of you.
One by one. This is of
Respected Dr. P.K. Singh, Agriculture Commissioner, Government of India.
introduce you.
Dr. Deepak, Pental, former Vice-Chancellor, Delhi University and Center for Genetic Manipulation of Crop Plants. Dr. Vinod, Pandit, Regional Director-CABI. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you all to our first ever event, BASAI 2024, themed Biologicals for the World, Agri Inputs Tackling Global Challenges. I am particularly overwhelmed by the response that we have this afternoon. Thank you all. As BASAI enters its fifth year of operation, we have come a long way in terms of policy and advocacy and our stewardship efforts in disseminating knowledge. Not to mention the efforts placed by BASAI towards assisting the government in drafting and implementing the biostimulant regulations notified under the FCO 1985 of the Essential Commodities Act. In 2019, when we first started, we were a 7-member association and had the immediate task of addressing the biostimulant regulatory concerns being faced across all stakeholders. Today we stand as a 33-strong responsible corporate member presence and work along with various industry associations and farmer organizations to address the concerns emerging from the use of biological agri inputs used in agriculture, including horticulture and floriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be standing in front of such an august gathering to discuss and deliberate upon the latest scenario of agri inputs gaining attention. The biologicals, both microbial and botanical in nature, and to a certain extent probably also wanting to cover semiochemicals in the context. More so when our Honorable Prime Minister vision is to promote organic and natural farming practices in the country in a manner that it does not jeopardize the existing food and nutritional security of our country. In the nation's strive to achieve what may seem impossible targets in our present day, understanding to actually envisage to attaining during the Amrit Kal by 2047, making India's 100 years of independence. Starting with the Undersoil Health Card scheme of Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, wherein the states are provided assistance to promote integrated nutrient management through judicious use of chemical fertilizers in conjunction with organic fertilizers. The government has been promoting organic farming on priority in the country since 2015-16 through the schemes of Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana and Mission Organic Value Chain Development for Northeastern Region. Natural farming since 1920 through a sub-scheme namely Bharatiya Pragati Krishi Paddhati under the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. The latest government initiative announced being the PM Program for Restoration, Awareness, Nourishment and Amelioration of Mother Earth to incentivize states and union territories to promote the use of alternative fertilizers such as organic and biofertilizers. Under the program, state governments will be incentivized to the tune of 50% of fertilizer subsidy saved for promotion of organic and natural farming and organic fertilizers. Under Mission Life program, government is taking up various environment-friendly initiatives to encourage natural and organic farming using organic and biofertilizers for reduced emission of greenhouse gas through reduction of use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Well, biologicals may and should not be considered as alternatives to conventional agri-inputs such as fertilizers and pesticides. On the contrary, they can be considered as complementary agri-inputs so as to enhance the effect of fertilizers and pesticides in a manner so as to directly reduce the dependence and use of conventional agri-inputs such as fertilizers and pesticides. Biologicals are being heralded as part of the solution to many of the challenges facing today's arable farmers. Described as anything other than fertilizers and pesticides, they can be added to the plant, seed or soil. To enhance plant growth, biologicals are accompanied by bold claims about their efficacy. Few would argue that biologicals show promise, and that's reflected by the rapid growth of this segment in our industry. In light of the recent attention being given to biologicals, modern agriculture needs to review and broaden its practices and business models by integrating opportunities coming from different adjacent sectors and value chains, including the bio-based industry, in a fully circular economic strategy. Searching for new tools and technologies to increase crop productivity under optimal and suboptimal conditions and to improve resources use efficiency is crucial for food security while preserving soil quality, microbial biodiversity and providing business opportunities for farmers. One of the key issues that I see in terms of organic farming is to create, as I was discussing with Dr. P.K. Singh during lunch, is to increase public awareness of consuming organic foods. If you create demand in the society where we have a large youth population, a large middle class, if the demand is, people are made aware of the benefits of organic food, I think the supply chain, the ecosystem will gear up to meet the demand. So I think that's one area which government can think of in deploying resources, as well as organizations which are involved in this, such as ours. In short, we can say that immediate benefits of biologicals underscore their potential as a key player and a promising pathway towards attaining sustainable agricultural practices. If all this don't make sense, then how about a total market of biological which is to the tune of almost over $40 billion sound to be explored against an approximately US $100 billion market for agrochemicals for plant protection and the US $200 billion market for fertilizers alone. I think India has a great opportunity not only for the domestic market but also for the international market as far as this whole segment is concerned. I hope that this event of ours, the first attempt of its kind, and we hope to make it more international in the years to come, meets a meaningful outcome for all the stakeholders and provides a roadmap towards addressing the diverse issues being faced by all stakeholders, be it regarding imports, exports, taxation, customs, and many others. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your presence and patience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for setting the tone. Before we proceed further, as we said, this is our first event, and it's a way of we would like to showcase where we stand and what we are. So may I request the audio one to be played. It's a small video clip we prepared. We hope that you like it.
चिड़िया, कौवा, तोता, हमारे जितने ये पक्षी हैं, ये एक बिल्कुल अब एक दिखाई नहीं देता। इतना जहरीला वातावरण हो चुका है।
बाजार में भी दूध जाता है, हर घर में दूध जाता है, हर आदमी यही कहता है जाके जिसके दूध ले रहा, भाई दूध में टेस्ट नहीं है, आपके में दूध में टेस्ट नहीं आ रहा। टेस्ट आए कहाँ से? टेस्ट कोई चीज़ हम खा ही नहीं रहे, हमारे पशु ही नहीं खा रहे टेस्ट की चीज़।
हमारी इच्छाएं इतनी बड़ी हैं, उन इच्छाओं को हम पूरा करने के लिए हम उस नुकसान को नहीं देख रहे, लेकिन शारीरिक नुकसान बहुत हो रहा। मैं ब्रह्मपाल नागर,
मेरा नाम छत्रपाल
ओम प्रकाश नाम है जी मेरा,
और हमारा कृषि का ही काम है जी, और कोई काम है नहीं।
अभी तक तो किसान कीटनाशकों के सारे ही अपना फार्मिंग करता रहा है। हम यही समझाते रहे हैं कि कीटनाशकों और केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स के ओवर यूज से क्या नुकसान होते हैं। लेकिन अब वक्त आ गया है, इंसानों को इस मामले में और अवगत कराने की ज़रूरत है कि बायोलॉजिकल्स को कैसे इस्तेमाल किया जाए, किस वक्त इस्तेमाल किया जाए, जिससे उसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फ़ायदा हो सके और सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर की तरफ उसको बढ़ने का मौका मिले।
कुछ लोग अपने स्वार्थ के लिए करते हैं, पर समझे मेरा अपना घर ठीक होना चाहिए, मुझे दूसरे तक उसमें जाएगा फिर, नहीं समझे। मैंने अपनी पैदावार लगा ली, मैंने 1 एकड़ लगा लिया, उसमें कोई खाद वगैरह कुछ नहीं डाला, ऐसे लगा दिया। लेकिन उसके लिए जो मुझे मार्केट में देना है, उसके लिए तो मैं तो अपना फिर वही यूज करूँगा।
ये बताते हैं ये जो हमारे कृषि विज्ञान वाले, अब मिट्टी जहरीली हो गई है,
बीमारियां ज़्यादा बढ़ रही हैं पशुओं में भी और इंसानों में भी, क्योंकि उसी पैदावार को ही पशु भी खा रहे हैं, उसी का ही दूध है या जो भी है, हम उसी को हम यूज कर रहे हैं।
पानी में भी हमारे काफ़ी फर्क पड़ चुका है। पानी जब हमारे ऊपर 32 फुट पे हो तो उससे पैदावार और ज़्यादा हुई, और अब जो है ये जब से ये 200 फुट 250 फुट पर पानी जा रहा है तो ये पैदावार कम हो रही है।
आप पे ट्रैक्टर होगा, मेरे पे नहीं है, तो मैं तो किराए के लिए सिर्फ जाऊंगा, आपके पास वैसे नहीं जाऊंगा। पहले क्या कि हमदर्दी थी, आप अगर आपका खेत में हल नहीं चला तो मेरा भी जावे, उसका भी जाता था, इसका भी जाता था, सारे मिलजुल के काम कर रहे थे, इसलिए प्रेम भावना बहुत ज़्यादा थी। हो सकता है कि इससे प्रेम भावना भी दूर दूर होती जा रही है, आपस में मिल नहीं रहा।
About the problems being faced regarding soil health, human health, their well-being, and the cost of agri inputs being placed across. I believe that our members at BASAI are all in there to provide not only quality products, but quality products at a reasonable, affordable rate, and also in educating them how to properly use those products, not to overuse it, not to underuse it, but the appropriate use and the timely use of such kind of products, so that they can, really get the best out of such kind of practices, the biological practices, towards achieving sustainable agriculture and addressing all their concerns on the environment, on the food produced, and on the health of their family and their well-being. There are policy issues involved which are not easy to negate immediately, but there is a process, and the process gets initiated, and during this process we have and we look forward to attaining a much better success rate in addressing all those concerns. In these 5 years, we've been able to not only disseminate information across all stakeholders, both nationally and globally, but we have also come across with a number of publications that are helping all kinds of stakeholders in the country. Our members are doing a lot in innovation, a lot of R&D. The R&D moves way far ahead at a faster pace than the regulators can cope up with. And that is where the problem of making one understand the science between this new technology, new innovation that comes across poses a challenge. In the next probably 5-10 years, I can say that BASAI can be looked upon as a sole kind of organization, obviously with the collaboration and the support of other organizations across regionally also.
As we all know, there are thousands of players in biostimulants in India, and therefore need to regulate the same is very vital and very essential. It is with this purpose in mind that the Indian government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, did a very wise thing of bringing biostimulant under FCO. And with this initiative, good companies got together 5 years ago to establish what is known as the Biological Agri Solutions Association of India, BASAI.
Concentrating on addressing all biological agri input solution concerns. Basically, BASAI is not looking at totally removing the use of chemical agri inputs in agriculture. We are just there and only to complement the regular practices going across, and therefore helping the farming community to reduce the use of chemical agri inputs and have a more better adaptation towards biological agri inputs. इस बीच में चेंज तो नज़र आता हुआ आ रहा है। किसान अब बायोलॉजिकल्स को भी प्रोत्साहन दे रहे हैं, उसकी तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं और धीरे धीरे कीटनाशकों का कम से कम इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं।
अब देखो जी, पेट पालना भी ज़रूरी है। आज के समय में पेट पालना ही ज़्यादा ज़रूरी हो रही है।
प्रोग्रेसिव फार्मर जो है इसको अडॉप्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहा है कि बायोलॉजिकल्स का ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल किया जाए। थोड़ा वक्त लगेगा, लेकिन चल रहा है काम।
तो ऐसी रसायन अगर कोई बनाते हैं तो सरकार बहुत बल्ले बल्ले है वो तो।
Thank you very much. Thank you. Your applaud says that it was well taken across. I hope the message was appropriate in this regard. As traditional, as you've seen in the documentary also, that we are basically into information dissemination. That's our core belief. And that's what the main difference is between us and other associations. We believe in compiling appropriate information and disseminating it for all stakeholders to use. A one-point section where they can refer to with all authentic documents placed under one document. And keeping in with the tradition of BASAI, ladies and gentlemen, we will be releasing 3 books today. The first book is on natural farming. May I ask the panel to kindly rise and reveal the new book? And the other book, ladies and gentlemen, if you may think that we are going way back into history, the other book is on drones. All complete information you will find in this publication. This is here, sir. Yeah. And the third, but not the last publication that's going to be revealed during this event, 2-day event. The third one was inspired by the government of Haryana. So what we've done is we've created a workbook on all plant protection products that have been approved by the government of India with respect to use on fruits and vegetables only. And the purpose of this workbook is to use it as a practical workbook wherein all gaps will be filled across. We tend to share it with all ICR institutes and state agriculture universities, and also study various package of practices where things are amiss that have been recommended by the state, are not approved by the government, or have been approved by the government and not being taken across by the state governments or the farming community. So this will help in plug in the gaps in crop protection products, both chemicals as well as biologicals. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. And I said this is not the last. I'd just like to also give a warm welcome to, we have got 2 present regulators who are dealing with biologicals. Dr. Vandana Seth from CABI, Secretariat CABI and RC, and Dr. Juzar. Sir, warm welcome, ma'am. And we also have an ex-toxicologist, Dr. Sita Balla, amongst us. Madam, warm welcome to you. Earlier, about 2 months back, along with the Bajrang Pratishthan in Barot, we had inaugurated a training manual on safe and judicious uses of pesticides. And that has also opened up the UP chapter of BASAI as far as stewardship is concerned. We are already working with the government of Punjab and Haryana, and we look forward to more collaborations with other organizations and our members also in other states. Wherever they feel that there is a need for more education, we would be more than pleased to come across on that part. I would now like to invite amongst us, we have Dr. Vinod Pandit, Regional Director, CABI, South Asia Center in India. He has a professional experience of 20 years in promoting sustainable plant health systems and market access programs in the South Asia region. Dr. Pandit has lent his insights and expertise to various governmental bodies, including the National Horticulture Board and APIDA, the Export Development Authority of the Government of India. Dr. Vinod continues to work in collaboration in shaping the future of sustainable agriculture in South Asia and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Vinod Pandit.
Dignitaries at the desk, esteemed experts, and my dear colleagues and friends. Namaste. It's a real opportunity for me today to be part of this event, part of this program that BASAI has been leading. And a subject which during my research work used to be very close to my heart. But as profession takes forward, I went into a different domain of market access or sanitary and phytosanitary issues. But yeah, the biological control or the sustainable practices has always been at the heart of whatever we do in terms of the agricultural practices. Biological control is definitely a ray of hope. We see from the perspective of minimizing the risk of highly hazardous pesticides. Even if we look it from the lens of a market access, it has a very crucial role because we have to comply with the certain pest and the pesticide requirements of the importing countries, or maybe even from the export point of view as well. From the climate change point of view and the pest resistance point of view. So if we see in a holistic way, the biopesticides or the biological pesticides has a very crucial role in every theme of the agriculture production or agriculture development. I know I am standing in front of experts who has a very rich domain expertise. So I obviously will be, I'm happy to contribute with the same thoughts or maybe strengthen the arguments that we all have been facing, what Chair Basai was mentioning earlier, or Dr. Vipin was also mentioning about. So these issues are something which are a challenge, and we as a stakeholder have to play or are playing our roles in our own ways, be it a marketing organization, be it an extension agent, or be it a research organization. In CABI, we have been doing a lot of work around the biopesticides. Though we are a very small organization, we may not be working so closely as you are working with the farming community, but we believe it's actually a culture. If we have to make a successful landing of the biopesticides at the farmer's field, if we have to think it in a way that the biopesticides are going to be a real hope for the future, then we have to adopt to that culture. We, as experts, or maybe as the extension agents, we have to see how we can think of considering the user, not the organism, not the pest, what I meant to say. Maybe the farmer, or maybe a researcher, or maybe an extension agent, how difficult it is for him to motivate or to convince a farmer to use the biopesticide or a biological agent. As we all witnessed in the video as well, the farmers were saying, we are using a 1 acre for our own, whereas we are producing maybe for the market, we are producing it differently. So we use chemicals there. So it's very tough for an extension agent. It's obviously difficult for a researcher. It's obviously difficult for agencies or organizations like ours who are working into the development sector, but from the point of view how it can be sustainable, how the pesticides use can be minimized. We have been working globally. We have been putting our efforts into it. So while working with these different agents or different agencies or different experts, let me call them as a pilots who are actually steering the takeoff or the landing of the biological agents in the farmer's field, helping in their own ways to manage the pest problem. At CABI, we have been thinking it in a very systemic way. We believe that probably the systemic way of managing the crop pest or a disease is the only way that the biological agents can be made successful. So when I say systemic, then we start from the beginning. So are we prepared or are we equipped enough to see that the biopesticide efficiency models are there, which are customized as per the geographical needs? Are they fitting well in the geographies? Okay, now we move to the next step. How a farmer is informed about a pest. I'm sorry, I would be speaking more about the pest and disease because our niche is only pest and disease or a plant health in that term. So are we giving pest alerts to a farmer? Does farmer have an access to the information when the pest is there? We try to work through our different projects or programs. We call it as Pest Risk Information Service, PRISE. It uses the Earth and satellite models to see how pests can be predicted in the beginning. How the pest management approach can be based on the proper diagnosis by creating the systems in a place which help in having an efficient plant doctors in place, or maybe we can call them as agricultural extension agents, which is a normal term, but we give them the name of a plant doctors by capacitating them, by building the capacities through the different stakeholders, so that they can provide in timely action. And when I say timely action, we meant to refer to the interventions through the activities like the plant clinics. The plant clinic model of giving an advisory to the farmers, wherein the farmers can come to a plant clinic, have an advice from a plant doctor and see how valuable or how critical or timely action can be taken by the respective farmer. Moving to the next stage, we see that how the access to the information or maybe access to the products can be made possible. So when we say access, then do we have enough resources available? I see today the excellent work that we, as a book, the workbook that Dr. Vipin was mentioning about. I think this is something which probably would be very helpful to the farming community. In the same line, we tried to have the knowledge bank, or what we call as a plant-wise knowledge bank, which has a repository of around maybe 15,000 pests and disease with the critical information about the we call it as a green list, or maybe we say in a layman language is a prevention and monitoring and then direct control. Then again, when we promote the idea of a direct control, it gives emphasis on the green list or a biological control agents, and maybe then seeing the low risk plant protection products that can help farmer in managing the pest. We have also started an initiative on the CABI. We call it as a bioprotection portal. I think some of you may have already seen there's a stall, and which has an information about the different products available globally, customized to the country context, what are available in India, registered by the Department of Agriculture. And this portal is carrying an information about 40 countries across the globe, with all the products registered across in these countries. We feel that this is something can serve as a useful tool for the farmers to have an information maybe on their mobile phones. So all of them are app-based. You can just see which products are registered in India to avoid any duplicates in the market. We are happy to say that हम भी माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के उद्देश्य में, जो कि डिजिटल एग्रीकल्चर या डिजिटल ग्रीन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सोच रहे हैं, हम भी उसमें कुछ योगदान कर सकें. सो वी आर प्लेइंग आवर रोल. In this context, I would just like to say that CABI has been in India from last, say, more than 70 years. And the first biological institution, the Biological Control Institution, we call it as a Center for Biological Control, was established down 65 years earlier, maybe 1957 in Bangalore, and which is now known as National Bureau for Agricultural Important Resources, NBAR. Most of you may be again knowing about it. And this was one of the interventions which was in India, and such centers were placed across the globe, maybe around 20 centers and probably 4 in Asia region. And CABI is actually an intergovernmental organization. It's international intergovernmental organization. We are a UN level treaty agreement organization, and having our work in across 100 countries. In South Asian region, we have the government of India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka as the member countries. So we are always open, always happy to discuss with you, to take collaborations further and see how we can assist with whatever expertise we have at our place. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I believe we're slightly short of chairs. We'll just organize more sitting across. Please be patient. I'd like to introduce you. We've got amongst us a very eminent scientist. I've got deep regard for him. Dr. Deepak Pental is amongst us, and he is also the former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Delhi. And I don't know whether I should coin him as the father of GM mustard or what to say. But Dr. Pental served as Vice-Chancellor, University of Delhi from 2005 till 2010, and then as a professor on 2015 as a professor in genetics, and he continues to work at the Center for Genetic Manipulation of Crop Plants in the University of Delhi. In 2022, he has been awarded the SERB National Science Chair for a period of 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause for Dr. Deepak Pental.
Good afternoon. When I saw that the small film that was shown, I felt that the topic I'm going to talk about is a little bit out of place, because we are mostly talking about organic and natural cultivation. But I want to tell the audience that we need all kind of solutions in agriculture. We still need agrochemicals, we still need fertilizers, we need the new technologies also to bring in, because we are not, our yields are, barring rice and wheat, our yields are less than the global average in almost all the crops. And I think there is plenty to do by all means to enhance the productivity while not overlooking the biosafety side. I will just briefly tell you about the current regulatory framework through which this mustard has gone. Basically, it's a system to make hybrid seed, and it uses a herbicide, glufosinate, which is produced in India and is out of patent now, but it is used quite a bit in around the world, and it is allowed in India for use on tea and a couple of other crops. But in mustard, we only need it for hybrid seed production plots, and we don't require it in the farmer's field to get the heterosis, to get more yield. Now, there are some very important new developments in plant breeding. One of them is use of molecular markers. Earlier, our breeders have done great job by phenotypic selection. Like you see bold-seeded mustard in India. It's not, you have to work hard, nothing is easy, but visible traits are easy to select. You can select in the progeny plants for bigger seed and for more yield, visible or phenotypic traits which add on to the yield. That's easier to do. But if you want to talk about quality traits, if you want to talk about disease, which sometimes come, which doesn't come, it is better to map these traits onto the genome of the plant, and then transfer it by the marker-assisted breeding, so that you are sure that the trait is going into your recipient material. And genetic engineering, as you know, ever since DNA structure was elucidated by Watson and Crick in the 1950s, there has been a revolution in biology in terms of molecular biology, the molecular basis of life. And this has gone so far that the applications started becoming evident in the 1970s through recombinant DNA work, that you can clone DNA of any organism, put it in a bacteria or in a yeast, and multiply it and express it and get, for example, human insulin was the first recombinant DNA product. The same we can do now in plants. Earlier we were limited by sexual crosses. To some extent, plants are more promiscuous. In animal kingdom, if you cross a horse with a donkey, you get a sterile progeny. But in plants, you can cross wheat with wild relatives of wheat and still extract some progeny out from the cross and try to breed in the traits like disease resistance into your crop. But genetic engineering allows you to take a trait from any source, and the finest example of that is Bt cotton, where a gene has been taken from Bacillus thuringiensis. I saw some of the companies selling the bacterial product. The bacteria has the cry proteins, and you can spray the bacteria, or you can spray the spores of the bacteria which contain large amounts of these proteins and protect your crop, and that is allowed in organic cultivation also. But as you know, the GM crops have been controversial, and there are multiple reasons for that. Some people feel that they are going to come only through multinationals. Some people say it is a very unnatural process, and some people, like most of the people, we are scared today. Why we have so much love for natural farming? Because everybody is living longer, ending up in having one or the other health-related issues, and we tend to ascribe it all to the food we eat, rather than our not taking exercise or not taking enough precautions for our health. But that's the way the things are. Gene editing is a very recent technology. Remember, in the 60s, we mutagenized almost all our crops to get new variability. And nobody bothered at that time how much havoc we were creating in the genome of the plant by irradiating it. Because for one mutation that you want, there will be hundreds of other mutations in the plant which you will have to weed out. But genome editing gives you precision to mutate the specific gene. And with the knowledge of genomics, unfortunately, we tend to do everything in a half-hearted way. We started well in the genomics area, but other countries have done far, far more work. And almost all the crops that are grown around the world are sequenced. Not only crop plant is sequenced, their wild relatives have been sequenced, and in many cases, a lot of germplasm has also been sequenced. So the amount of knowledge that we have about crops today is phenomenal. And the challenge for us is how best we can use it in a safe manner to manipulate our crops. The good news is that in 2002, we released Bt cotton. The activists who don't like GM crops say that Bt cotton is a failure because the Bt gene does not take care of Pectinophora pink bollworm any longer. But if you looked at the whole history of the biological evolution, our own experiences, you know that there is an arms race between the host and the pathogen and pests. The pest is always trying to breach the defenses of the plant. The plant is slower in evolution because the generation time is longer, while let's say the fungal pest or an insect pest breeds much faster and is able to break through, whether it's a pesticide or it is a gene. So this is a known fact. To ascribe Pectinophora developing resistance to the cry proteins that are present in Bt cotton is really, one should say, is complete ignorance of the whole issue. The mustard production is not enough. We import huge amount of edible oils. This year around 160,000 crores, which is not a good sign for a country where more than 50% of the population is on farming, or at least 40-45% is on farming alone. And our yield, you can see, as compared to Canada, and China, where short duration rapeseed is grown, is less. It has increased recently due to a hybrid from Pioneer, which yields more than the varieties, and that's how the yield has gone higher. Now, I have no time now to describe the Barnes bar star system because it has been cleared, and the good news is that the government has finally taken the step of releasing another crop. The case is still in the Supreme Court, where all kind of arguments are given by the petitioners which have no scientific logic, but that's the way things are going. And the government fortunately has put their case very strongly this time, and I hope that the court will not interfere with the government's public policy making role. So we hope that this will lead to increase in yield. Lot of tests were done all in India, and it took about 4 or 5 years of testing and so on, multi-site trials. I must thank ICR to conduct the trials on these plants, and this is a site of where the trials were done, and a huge study on the biosafety. This technology of hybrid seed production was released in Canada in rapeseed in 1996. In 2002 in the United States, and 2003 in Australia. So it is out in the field for last more than 20 years with no ill effect of any kind seen. But we still did all the tests in India so that we develop the confidence and we develop the know-how of how to deal with the biosafety issues on the transgenic crops. It's on 25th October 2022 that MOFC gave a final approval to GM mustard for environmental release. With some precautionary recommendations, it's still being followed. There was a big concern that bees may get affected, although there is no report from US, Canada or Australia that bees are affected. But we want to do some tests on bees in India, and we don't mind because we have to look at what apprehensions are, and maybe collecting some data, people will know how to track the bee activities and so on and so forth. So GM mustard has not been released as a herbicide tolerant crop. Herbicide glufosinate is only required in hybrid seed production plots. The use of glufosinate by farmers is not required in the fields. A good pollination control mechanism is required for one-time development, and developing productive hybrids is a continuous activity. We all know that. I don't need to tell more about that, but activists see that this is the end of the day. Now, this is what I want to emphasize to the audience, and I have only 1 or 2 more slides which I want to show, and then I will hand it over to Dr. Singh because he has to go. Mustard yields are going to stagnate because we have major disease problems with mustard. Stem rot is a major issue. White rust is a major issue. Alternaria doesn't allow it to be taken to cooler areas like foothills and hilly tracts. And we have Orobanche, a root parasite which is creating havoc in Rajasthan. And aphids have been there for all the time. They have been there. They have breached the defenses of all crucifer species. You can grow any crucifer, they'll come to it. So what are the solutions for it? For Orobanche, it is glyphosate, and we have made glyphosate resistant plants. Recently, there is a beautiful work on genome editing by my student and now a scientist in his independent right, where he has removed glucosinolates from the seed while keeping these secondary metabolites in the leaf and other parts of the plant. If you make it all low glucosinolate, the pests come, herbivores eat it up, birds eat it up. So it didn't look successful story to us to make low glucosinolate mustard. But now we have low glucosinolate in seed, so the meal is free of glucosinolates, seed meal, and that can be fed to poultry and other animals, and it will be very nutritional for them. My last slide is something which you are all dealing with, and which I think we need to get to some understanding on. In the developed countries, in all recombinant DNA products, a lot of research is done in the public sector, in the universities and institutions. It's immediately patented and given over to transnationals now, for example, not even small companies. Or the scientists make their own small companies which get sold off to the larger companies with deeper pockets. In India, we want to discourage patenting for many reasons, particularly in the agriculture side. And this is an issue which we could discuss. I'm sure you guys are discussing it a lot in your discussions. So that's all what I have to say. I will end by saying that we need all kind of technologies, and everybody, all of us as scientists and as entrepreneurs, as industrialists, we must see that the safety and the biosafety of the people who use these chemicals or genes is assured of. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Really enlightening. And this is why I wanted Dr. Pental to be in the inaugural, because this was one of the latest technologies that are being foreseen in the near future to come across. Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest has got a pressing meeting. He's already probably delayed, but may I call upon Dr. P.K. Singh, the Agriculture Commissioner, Government of India, and also happens to chair the Central Fertilizer Control Committee and the Central Biostimulant Committee under the FCO and the Registration Committee under the Insecticide Science Act. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. P.K. Singh.
Professor Pental and other dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Friends, it's very heartening to see all this gathering here for biologicals, but most of them are common in chemicals also. So as Agriculture Commissioner, I should not just focus on, for me it's all same. It's a product. It is an innovation. It is a product. If someone is bringing nano urea, nano DAP, that is also a product. How it has to be used, that is either R&D organizations or the farmers have to decide. So for me, all are same, because I have to chair the committee for registration of all the three. So for me, it's all the same. And as someone said that this in his film also, he has shown that farmers are saying that बहुत ज़्यादा जहर हो गया है, ये हो गया है. It's not like that. We should not undermine the effect of one just to promote the other. Even now, we cannot say that all the biologicals will go in organic farming, because they may have something that sometime how it is organic, if it is humic acid, folic acid, all or amino acids or vitamins, how it is sourced, that is also very important. How can we say it is all good for organic? And so that is there. So let us focus on 3-4 points. What in further discussions you can all focus. That is, inputs are very important, and the quality of input. How we are going to have traceability of those inputs in the market. Who are those manufacturers? Good ones are good, and then spurious are always spurious. So how to check those quality inputs and how to weed out those manufacturers from the market, and how to make your product more effective and more user friendly, more economical to the farmers. That is very important. First point is that. Now with the progress in the field of varietal development, if some resistant variety or tolerant variety is coming in the market, so there may be a lot of shifts in the demand of the inputs. If it is insect tolerant variety, then the requirement of this, and if you are just going to check your biopesticide or biostimulant on a tolerant variety, definitely it will show very good result. But whether it is good on susceptible one also, or in the changing climate regime, is it going to give you the same effect in north, south, east, west, all localities? That is also has to be tested. So don't think that one biostimulant and then it will go throughout the country and all crops and all conditions. This will not going to happen. Then we are trying to make some biologicals as non-toxic. We will just tweaking this gadget notification and then making 4 categories under non-toxic one. So that definitely will reduce the cost of this regulation and testing and all those things. But then there should not be any mixture in that. Once we are saying it is non-toxic, it should not be containing anything else than what is being claimed. So that is otherwise that purpose is defeated. If it becomes toxic due to the pesticide load or some other things, so it will be not in a good way. Otherwise, we are trying to simplify the regulation. We are trying to simplify the data collection, bioefficacy. All those things are we are trying to simplify in that way. And we hope that the industry will support us in accepting all these regulations, because the material which has been submitted to us earlier as G2 or G1 and all those, it's such a difficult mixture. It is even more difficult to understand. Just I was reading Sir's Khorakiwala's name. It is very difficult to pronounce that. In the same way, it is very difficult to identify those chemicals, those biostimulants. Where it is lead, where it is zinc, where it is copper, how it is coming in the biological, I don't know. So many nutrients, so many pesticides, so many things are coming in. I don't know which seaweed is giving you the pesticide in the product. That is and such 30,000 applications. So we have to weed out these. Good ones should continue and then the bad ones should go. Whether they are from MSME, they are claiming that we are a small industry, we will be wiped out. So how can we allow you to mix pesticide in vitamins and then sell in the market? So एक बहुत पुराना एग्जाम्पल है, कोई गांव पे आदमी था, कैंसर उसको पेट का कुछ हल्का फुल्का था, तो वो अपने गांव के वैद्य को दिखाया, तो कुछ दवाई वैद्यों में नहीं ठीक हुआ। तो फिर एक दिन कहा कि बड़ा दर्द होता है, तो कहें जाओ जाके संखिया खा लो। संखिया कहते हैं वो कॉपर एंड ऑल दैट मिक्सचर, दैट इज संखिया नो। तो वो जाके थोड़ा सा खा लिया, उसको आराम हो गया। आके उसके बाद सबको घूम घूम के प्रचार करने लगा दैट संखिया इज द मेडिसिन फॉर कैंसर। इज इट सो? अरे वो कहा कि जाओ संखिया खा के मर जाओ। तो सो दैट काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन शुड नॉट अराइज कि आप कुछ मिल गया किसी को, some traditional work is going on and some farmer is using something and just someone adopted that and then make a small one room industry and then started selling that and then applied for कि for last 3 years तो कोई नहीं मरा साहब, हमें दे दो। That cannot be a way in the future. We have to regulate it so that we can go up to the global market, and our infusion or ingress in the global market will only be then when it is of quality. We have to maintain the quality. Even seaweeds, CMFRI they are here. Some scientist is there, so they know that whatever seaweed is being produced in Bhavnagar and what is being produced in Gulf of Mannar, they have totally different composition. So how to regulate? Then we also we thought that okay, we will be just going in for the tracer molecules. And then those tracer molecules can be used to identify, yes, is it that is really a green sea product, or it is a green seaweed or that seaweed, whatever it is that. So that kind of thing that way we are trying to simplify, but we hope that all of you will see that the quality and the quantity also is manageable, and that it should not. It will never wipe out the agrochemicals, or it will never wipe out the nutrients in form of whatever we are taking in fertilizers. So only yesterday we have seen that the demand of urea is going to increase at least 5-10 times in next 20-30 years. So there's no chance of replacing all those fertilizers by unnecessary. Such claims should not be made that our biological products are going to replace nutrients, it will replace all the agrochemicals. Nothing is going to happen like that. All have to develop. They have their own niche. Everybody knows that their market is limited, and that in that market the best ones should flourish. That is what I feel. So today I don't have much time because there is a ministerial meeting in Animal Husbandry Department, and that reminds me that now we are progressing towards One Health approach. So right from microbes to plants to animals to human, everyone will now be linked in One Health system. Earlier it was only plant and animals, but now we are linking human health in that also. So One Health means for all. So biostimulants not only for plants, biostimulants for animal feed, animal health, that can also be a very good new market for fishery sector, for animal husbandry sector, and all those that can be done. So okay, we will discuss it in much more detail. Anytime anyone can come to me and we can discuss it.
Thank you, sir. What are the ifs and buts on biologicals, and I can assure you that members of the biological community also over here, and we have applied with all necessary data in this regard. So ladies and gentlemen, now we'll a round of momentum. May I request the chairperson of appreciation to Dr. P.K. Singh, please. I request Dr. Juzar Khorakiwala to also present a moment of honor to, please.